Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Long overdue. My man Crypto Beadles, Robert.
What is going on, my brother?
What's going on? Owner of Monarch Wallet. He's a cigar aficionado. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff here. Like we said on Twitter, we may not get to the crypto stuff. I don't know. He's a cool guy. I met him out on the West Coast a couple of years ago. He was smoking a cigar. I was smoking mine. I'm like, oh, I got somebody else that smokes cigars. Okay, we can do this. So really clicked up with him then, and ever since been pretty good friends. Don't get a chance to talk too much, but definitely a good friend in the crypto game. What's up, man? Tell the audience, because this is your first time on here, let the audience know a little bit about yourself, your background. You've got a great story, man. You dropped out of high school and you've become very successful, man. And I think it's remember in Vegas we were asked this question by Crypto Fiend. Remember that? And you gave that response. I thought that was great. So just give the audience your background and how you got to cryptos.
All right, how far back you want me to go?
Hey, it's a Kicking It session, man. So we go back however far you need to.
Cool. Well, it's always great to hang with you, brother. And yeah, it was awesome. You know, always sharing stogs with a aficionado. So I guess we can talk about that in a little bit. So for me, I guess Christian, father, husband. I've been with my wife since we were 14 years old. So
wow.
You met my oldest son. He's bigger than me, right? So he's 20.
Yeah. I thought that was I thought that was your brother or your father. I didn't know.
Nobody ever believes that he's my kid, ever. Nobody. They think we're twins, or some kind of brothers or something like that, right? But never father son. So, anyways, he goes with me everywhere. But like I said, I've been with his mom since we were 14 years old, and we're still married today. I got two sons. As you can imagine, getting married, very, very early, having our first kid at 17. We were pretty freaking poor, right? So welfare, food stamps, all that kind of stuff, and I quickly realized that I needed a job, not a PhD. So I didn't finish high school. I got an adult school diploma by means of spending 30 minutes in a classroom by myself on Fridays. So that way I could get that little piece of paper that everybody said I had to have. I tried college for a couple of weeks, but then realized that, hey, this wasn't going to pay the bills. It's just going to basically take more money out of our pockets and keep us from being able to provide for the family. So I already had a little bit of a background in construction because my father-in-law, he owned some beat-up apartment complexes, right? And so to get in good, with my wife's, dad, I would do, a bunch of free work for him, when I was growing up as a kid. And so I got to kind of learn about, construction, how to, renovate, real estate properties, multi-unit family, homes and things like that. And so I kind of already had a background in construction a little bit. And so I went to work for a construction company. And within, probably a few years, I ended up running the place. I started at the bottom, worked my way all the way to the top. And the owner and I got into it. So the owner is, he was a lot of fun. He was always like walking on eggshells around. He had some mental imbalances. And anyways, we got into it one day and he says, you know what, Beadles, if you can do a better job, go start your own company, right? So I'm like, okay. So I quit and I took the tests for the California State Licensing, CSOB, California State Licensing Board tests. It took about 6 months or so, something like that to get. I worked at another company while I was waiting for all the certificates to come in and things like that. Once I got them, I started my own company and I've grown the construction service company to one of the largest in the state of California. And so around 2009, I was able to kind of get the company in autopilot. So I had a lot of great people, grace of God, hard work, just, busted our butts, got it, to where it ran without me. So then I always kind of had, a passion for tech. When I was young, I ran like bulletin board systems. I did, some basic programming, a lot of stuff like that. So in 2009, I created a software company. And the reason I did this was, I've invented a lot of things. So I'm leaving out a lot, but I've invented a lot of things. And one of the things that I invented was memory tag greeting cards. And so memory tag is where you can put a video or a photo right in a paper greeting card. And so we created all the tech behind it and then put it in stores across the country. And anyways, the post office really liked the technology and they liked the greeting cards and they liked all the different things we were doing. And I also invented a reusable envelope. And so I already had kind of an in with the United States Post Office. And so they started having us, you know, develop applications and platforms for them. And so that's why we created the software company. So around 2009 or so, that's when we created the software company. Around 2011, like we were talking about earlier, this madman named Max Kaiser, you know,
Max Kaiser.
This incredible dude, man. I love Max. I've met him a ton of times, and you know, he's always great to hang out with. And but anyways, in 2011, he tells me about this thing called Bitcoin. Yeah. And how, you know, the financial collapse was all due to, you know, these central banks and these big institutions, and how it's always here to screw the little man. And, you know, we're always going to be in jeopardy of this happening again unless, you know, there's something like Bitcoin that comes out and saves the day. So I'm like, right. What are you talking about? So I look into this thing called Bitcoin. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty freaking incredible. So I got bit by the bug in 2011. And then people that knew me, you know, knew that I was into blockchain and crypto, and I've been following it. And nobody knew what it was. They thought it was some kind of alien technology until around 2017. Around 2017, everybody knew what Bitcoin was, right? Everybody's
they were calling you up, Beadles, weren't they? It wasn't for drywall either. They needed
Exactly, right? Yeah. Exactly. They just wouldn't leave me alone. They kept asking me the same questions over and over and over again, right? And so, you know, a couple of my buddies were, you know, smarter than me, and they're like, "Hey, man, why don't you just do a video? Why don't you just do a video and break it all down for us? Tell us where to buy it, how to send it, store it, receive it, all that kind of stuff. You know, some of the just guide us through the process a little bit, right?" So I did a couple of videos like that, just kind of breaking it down for them, telling them that this could go to zero. This is due for a crash. You guys are going to put your money in. A lot of you are going to lose it. This is super dangerous. But if you really want to know, here's how you do it. And that was in, I think, December of 2017 when I did those videos for them. And as we all know, a couple months later, it, you know, crashed, right? But anyways, they liked it so much because they saw that rise, you know, in profits and things like that. They started having me, you know, cover projects, right? They wanted to know, like, hey, I don't want to lose any more money, so why don't you tell me about this project? Tell me about that project. And so I started covering these projects, you know, for friends and family. And in every one of the videos, I always, even to today, give away $100 of free cryptocurrency to somebody that watches the video. That way they could kind of get into crypto on my dime, right? And so it just kind of grew to where I've done this like 1,000 times, you know, for friends and family. I do it a couple days a week, just so that way they can get all the, you know, the information that they want on these different projects. And so we have a channel on YouTube called Crypto Beadles. You know, we have a TV show on Biz TV. We've got TradingView sessions. They're on TradingView. I always do it for free. I never take any money from anybody, never shilled anything, you know, and it's just for friends and family, right? And it's just kind of grown up and blew up into something, you know, pretty large. Through this whole process, though, we quickly realized that there was, you know, really a lack of, you know, blockchain, cryptocurrency wallets and easy interfaces that, you know, people could use and send and store and receive, buy, sell cryptocurrencies, all that kind of stuff in kind of an easy fashion, right? Everything's super complicated. You need, you know, tons of different wallets. You need tons of different applications. And so me and the co-founder, Snay Bot, decided to create Monarch. He had an idea for reoccurring payments using blockchain. And I had an idea for an all-in-one experience that brings the best of all cryptocurrency companies, services, all that type of thing into one app and one login. And so we created Monarch around, I think it was late 2017 as well, early 2018. And every week, you know, we just keep dropping more and more technology. It's a free download. We've got, what does it do? So the Monarch wallet, you can download it today. I mean, go to monarchwallet.com. You can basically send, store, receive all various different types of cryptocurrencies. You can buy and sell it. You can earn interest on your cryptos, on the ones that are supported. We have a built-in decentralized exchange. Only you own your seed and keys. It's got a portfolio tracker in it. It's got a news aggregator in it. We're integrating all these different companies and services into it, so that way you just need one login to access all these different companies, all through Monarch. So it's pretty awesome. And then we created Monarch Pay, which is for merchants, because as we know, merchants are paying, you know, crazy high fees with credit card processing fees. Then they have to deal with chargebacks. So say for instance,
yeah, that's a big thing. People don't realize from a merchant side, because I have several businesses and I accept credit cards and stuff. And in the past, I've had issues where people have scammed me because I provide a service that I can't renege on or take back. Design services or websites and stuff. So that energy has been put into that, and they do chargebacks. And there's, in many cases, nothing I can do.
Yes, It's awful, man. And the credit card companies always side with the user, the customer, right? So
They
if you sell
do. Yeah.
a T-shirt or something like that, I get your T-shirt, then I call up the credit card company, say, hey, I didn't get it. I get to keep your T-shirt, and I don't pay you. You lose the money. It's horrible. It's awful,
Yep.
and people don't realize that merchants have to deal with that. Plus, 3 to 7% for the actual credit card transaction fee. Plus, if you use things like Patreon, it could be 10%, or 12%. So there's a lot of YouTubers and people out there that use Patreon to pay for, to get donations or to have their subscribers, their monthly fees for joining their club or their group or whatever.
Yeah. Do you use Patreon?
I don't know
either. Okay.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people.
They
That,
do.
and just
There are.
and just like PayPal too, right? So a lot of people use PayPal, and the fees are crazy high, and they lock down people's money, and you have to prove who you are. After you get a whole bunch of money in your PayPal account, that's about the time they decide to freeze it, and then you have to spend the next 3 weeks to 3 months proving your identity to them. So with Monarch Pay, none of that happens, right? So there's never a chargeback. The transaction fee is like less than 1%. You can get it down to like 0.5% here pretty soon. So imagine not having to pay 3 to 12%, for these transactions as a merchant. Maybe being able to pay 0.5%, 1%. No chargebacks. Having all the access to your customers. So, for instance, you said you have recurring payments for some of your members, right? So, say one of your some program you're offering is $9 a month. You as the merchant could go on right now, sign up. There's nothing to sign up to. Sorry, it's bad terminology. You can use it. You can use it today. There's nothing to sign up to. You just create a subscription plan. So as a merchant, you would just go there and create your plan. So it's like, Crypto Blood, $9 a month, access to whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you could put in a landing page that after they subscribe, it sends them to your next funnel if you want. That way you could take them to your landing page, and you could have them do more things or have access to to your program or to your plan right then and there. And so it has like CSV download, so that way if you have like a gazillion members and subscribers, you can download and export all their information that you required from them to give to you, and you can put it like in QuickBooks or something like that. And again, most all this is completely decentralized, so all the money is completely decentralized. It's using smart contracts and swaps, so that way we're not a third party in between you and your customer. It's
right.
Just, there's a small.
Do you have an actual like plug-in for maybe something like WordPress or anything like that yet?
See, that's the beauty of this, right? This isn't something to replace what you currently use. This is something you add in addition to it. So it's like pay with MasterCard, pay with Visa, pay with Monarch. So when you create your subscription, it gives you a hyperlink. And so that's all you need. And so when you put that hyperlink up there and they click it, and it's going to take them directly to, your plan. So that way, they'll be able to pay you, give you all the information you need right then and there. You don't need to have all these plugins, add-ons, any of that kind of stuff. It's just a simple link. And you can create as many subscription plans as you want. So if you're a merchant,
okay. Can I white label it? Like, can I put my brand on it, my logo, and all that stuff?
Yeah, here pretty soon. Right now, everything says Monarch on it. So because there's no fee to use it, right? The only fee is the actual transaction of the value.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's not like you pay Monarch $9 a month as a merchant, and you get to use it. No, you just go and use it. And there's about a 1% transaction fee on the total transaction versus like a 3% or 12% from a credit card. And there's no chargebacks. And again, all this stuff's available today. Right now, it's only on PC and Apple, desktop. But within the next week or two, it'll be available within the Monarch wallet itself. So when you have the Monarch wallet in your hand, you could actually do it right then and there, right? So if you're on the go, like a lot of entrepreneurs and merchants, you can create it right there on your phone and slap it up on your website.
See, this is how cryptos people are supposed to be utilized, and make it simple for us, not more complicated. You know what I'm saying? Not add KYC and all that. That is not the point of this whole industry. And we're really getting very far away from the meaning of cryptocurrencies and just transferring value to one another over the blockchain. And Crypto Beadles is definitely doing it right. I'm going to definitely integrate this recurring payment system within my algo service. So I'll make sure I set that up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Sneh and I, we've just wanted to create something that we would use that would make, it's stuff easier for us, right? We own companies, we own businesses. we deal with people all the time, and there's pain points, right? And one of the biggest pain points with cryptocurrency is it's extremely difficult for people outside the space to understand it, let alone people inside the space to understand it, right? So we're trying to dumb it down and make it as simple as possible for people to actually use this stuff, right? We want that Facebook experience within a blockchain type platform. And make no mistake, that's what this is. It's using blockchain and smart contracts, but we've created a user interface to where it's just like, just add a couple fields of data and you're done. Right now, it's a little clunky because you got to use MetaMask. But again, like in the next couple of weeks, you won't have to use that. You just be using the Monarch wallet, and everything will just be done with a few clicks of the button, and it's going to be just like a Facebook experience, even better. So we just have to dumb it down for people because blockchain is really, really difficult for people to understand. They don't understand it. You talk to people in the space, and these are the same people out there, pretending to understand how blockchain works. But you start asking them questions, man, some deep questions, and they're like, oh, well, I just kind of understand it in theory. They don't understand how it works, right? And they can't really explain it to people. So we're trying to make it even easy for those people, right? For the fakers out there that, pretend to know how it works. It's like,
right.
now you can really be an expert. You just click this button, click that button, and
yeah, man, we definitely got a long way to go as far as, and I think that's why, a lot of people thought adoption was going to really proceed what we saw in 2017 as far as the height and, all the mania and the media and all of that. People thought they were going to, people meaning us in the industry, many of us thought that we would see a big boom in adoption shortly thereafter that. But I think the bottleneck is the fact that it's not easy to use still.
Sucks, man, dude.
Yep.
If you look at anything that actually works that people actually use, it's all centralized services that aren't blockchain. Look at Coinbase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Coinbase
yeah, I mean, you look at people like that are in the blockchain space, and they're trying to create blockchain type things. They're going backwards. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff just gets more and more and more complicated, and it's like a guided tour puzzle protocol. He's like, okay, guys, you know what that is? And it's like, no. Do you know what a button is? Yeah, that's what you want. You want a button, right? You don't have to explain to people, how you have to download this app and understand how all this stuff works just to be able to use this app and that app. And it just gets too overwhelming. You can see people's eyes just kind of roll back in their head when they're not in the space, or even if they're in the space and you tell them all the different things they have to do to use something, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I just want to roll back, man, because you have an awesome story, a path from, where you started and where you are today. And, I just want to highlight, man, it's just like, one of the issues I think we have here in America is that we've been given a blueprint. I mean, the sheeple, we've given a blueprint, go to school, graduate from high school, go to college, get in debt. And once you get out of college or your undergrad, you go get a cheesy job. You find out that it's not enough. So they say, go back and get your master's. Then you'll be able to really, climb the ladders. And then you go to get your master's and they say, oh, you need another master's. So you go get another master's. And it's just, and so you go through that whole funnel, that like system that they're just trying to get us all to run through. And many times people come out with so much debt, unhappy, and not fulfilled. So kind of tell us like why, people should kind of follow their dreams and not stay within the mold of society and what people tell them to do, what the state is telling them to do.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody, that it's going to be something a little different, right? Some people, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer.
Oh, you gotta go to school,
right?
Yeah.
Other people, they may have different aspirations. Other people may just be trying to find themselves. They really don't know what they want to do yet. So what makes sense for them is, well, mom and dad always said go to college. That's a lot of money, right? So both my kids, 19 and 24 years old, neither one of them, have gone to college. One works for my company. The other one is going to be a pastor, right? And so,
nice.
The pastor, he'll do some online, training and things like that, for the religious aspect and certifications that he needs.
Right,
but the oldest, I can drop him off anywhere in the world, and probably within, a month, he'll make $1 million. Just because he's worked. I own so many different companies. He's done so many different things. He has so much hands-on experience. He really didn't know what he wanted to do, right? He didn't know.
And most don't, though, Beatles. That's the thing. Like, I'm dealing with that with my little brother. Like, and my dad is very upset that he has come home after the first semester of, freshman college. And I'm like, that he's 18, 19 years old. Who at 19 knew what they wanted to do?
That's exactly it.
Or if they did, it probably isn't what they are doing today. You know what I'm saying?
Or what they like to do at 18 or 19 might land them in jail, or with a lot of different STDs, right? So,
right.
But I mean, for everybody, it's a little different, right? There's all these, inspirational quotes. Do what you love what you do. You'll never work a day in your life. Well, that's true to an extent, but I always say that it's best to find something you're good at, right? Find something you're kind of good at, because everybody out there is amazing at something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody has their own skill set of something, right? They might be a basket weaver. They might be a basketball player. Who knows? But everybody's great at something. And usually when somebody's good at something, the passion kind of follows after that, because it kind of leads to respect and admiration.
That's it. It's the other way around. Find something you're good at, and it is exactly what you said. The passion will follow, and that will sustain you through the ups and downs in your journey through that whole career. Because if you go for something you're passionate about alone, I could be passionate about playing chess. That's not going to most likely make me any money. You know what I mean? It's just, so you're spot on with that for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody kind of needs to figure out, what they're good at, I think. And sometimes it takes some soul searching, right? They're like, well, man, I'm not really good at anything. It's like, well, why don't you just take a seat, sit down, go grab a cigar, a little glass of scotch or something. Sit out by the pool and just kind of think about it for a minute, man. What do you like to do? What are you good at? Right. And then once they figure that out and they realize, hey, I am kind of good at that. Usually the passion does typically follow, because, they actually see a result in that work, right? If they say, for instance, you wanted to be a chess player, right? But you got a 65 IQ. It's like, hey, I really like chess. It's like, okay, man, but you don't have the skill set for, right? You got a 65 IQ.
It's not going to work. Exactly. Perfect.
I like to weave baskets too. It's like, well, you know what? Maybe So sometimes you got to use the tools that you got, right?
There you go.
I'm not try to, I guess, hone your skills and try to be a better person and trying to learn more and do more and all that kind of stuff. But I just mean, when people, they know what they're good at, or they kind of figure it out, then they're able to kind of build from there. And then once they find that, usually the money will come, right? And if they figure out how to scale things, even if like they're a basket weaver, right? So this is just something I just pulled out of my hat right here, right? So say you're a basket weaver, right? You're good at it. You understand everything about it, right? And then you're able to find out that, hey, there's a country or a city or something that, that could use a bunch of baskets. You figure out a company, like a way to scale your company to produce all the baskets for this city, this country, whatever. And next thing you know, you're in the basket weaving business and you're making millions of dollars a month. There's different ways to do things like that, obviously.
Yeah, but the operative word there, though, and this is another critical part. If you're going the path of an entrepreneur, like everyone, I don't think is equipped to be an entrepreneur, and that's fine. That's another thing. Everyone's not going to be this, crazy entrepreneur making millions and billions of dollars. But if you find what you're good at, then the passion will come. You'll be happy in life. But if you're an entrepreneur, you gotta go for businesses that, as you said, scale. They have to be scalable if you want to see that type of growth. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out a way to scale it, or if the business in itself is even scalable. That's a critical part to figure out.
Yeah, one of the parts I left out too is there has to be a need, right? So you got to fill a need for people, right? So you may be great at I don't know, sharpening sharpening straws, right? Like, okay, that's great. I'm great at sharpening straws. That's the most random thing I could think of. I looked down, saw a straw. Like nobody's really going to pay you for that, right? No. So when you figure out what you're good at, right, make sure it's also something people need, want, and there's, a market for, right? If you're going to go the route of an entrepreneur. If you're not going to go the route of an entrepreneur, find out what you're good at, and then figure out where in the market, what sector requires that skill set, right? And then just start, honing that skill, whatever you're great at, and then apply at all those different companies that, would require that kind of skill set. And you'll end up, landing a job somewhere. So there's always different, paths to success, but it always comes down to hard work, man. There's some people that, are born into a rich family, and that stuff usually doesn't last, more than a generation or two. But, for most people,
about that.
For most people, man, you got to, trust in God and work your butt off. Right. So I might as well do something you're good at, and then something you end up enjoying or loving or being passionate about because you're good at it. Right. And then the money comes.
I think we're going to have to start a motivational, inspirational YouTube channel, man. This is just getting too mushy here. Question, man. Cigars. We were, started off kind of talking about that. What are you smoking today, man? I know you're a big smoker. I smoke at least every day. I normally, and we talked about this, I never finish my cigar. Like, it takes 2 days for me to finish a cigar mostly. Unless it's a Robusto size. But what are your favorite sticks right now?
All right, so I obviously have a problem because I can smoke anywhere from 2 to 5 a day. Yeah. So I've always usually got a cigar in my mouth, except usually when I'm in the studio. Although I do have a sniffer right here, so but then it does kind of stink it up for the rest of the people here. So I usually don't smoke indoors. Normally it's out by the lake when I'm programming or working. So my daily drivers are probably Rocky Patel's. So I don't know if you've ever been to Honduras and if you've ever toured the plantation, but he used to be an attorney for Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I know Rocky. I actually know Rocky.
Okay.
Yeah. He's good friends with my buddy up here who owns a cigar shop. So awesome. I met him when he started Rocky Patel. This is when he just jumped out there, and he, so he comes back almost every year and kicks it with Nash and stuff. Yeah.
But this just kind of goes back to the entrepreneurship, right? So he found something he was good at, right? He was, a great attorney for a lot of the Hollywood, stars.
Sure was.
But what was he better at, and what did he love more? Cigars.
There you go.
So he went and bought his own plantation in Honduras, and now he's created a very successful cigar brand that's all over the world, right? So I mean, obviously, it's not, to the stature of like Romeo or like Macanudo or some of those,
Davidoff, yeah.
Yeah, but he's created his own brand, and it's all quality stuff. And so my daily drivers are usually Rocky Patel Connecticut's, because they don't turn my teeth black overnight from from that.
So you're like a mild. So your dailies are more of a mild smoker, mild stick, huh? I didn't know that.
Night, at night, I'll typically have like a decade, which is kind of the darker.
Another decade, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just So these are just daily drivers for me. I also like Alec Bradley's.
Yep, so I've met them. I've met him and his son. Yeah, he and his son. I met those guys. They've come up here. They have some hit or miss sticks. I've had a couple that I like from Alec Bradley.
Yeah, but most of the stuff I like are from up and comers, right? From people that haven't been in the industry for hundreds of years and things like that. So,
Remember the stick I gave you, Aroma Craft, the Candela?
Yeah, it was amazing, man.
That's an up-and-coming boutique line cigar roller. So I like them a lot. Aroma Craft make good sticks. I think you ended up buying a whole bundle.
I did. I bought a whole case of it. Yeah. It went pretty quick.
Right. Right. So when you get fancy, man, you're going to put on a bow tie, the tuxedo. I don't probably never do that, but you just landed and sealed a nice construction deal for a couple of million. When you get fancy, what do you smoke when you want to get real fancy?
See, I never celebrate, man, and that's one of the problems, right?
Oh man, you got to celebrate, Beadles.
I never celebrate because I have too many. I guess there's just too many goals along the roadmap, right? So it's just like, I hit this one, check, on to the next one, check, on to the next one. I never stop and like celebrate. Even if I go on a vacation, so to speak, right, with a family, I'm always the guy that's working in the back, right? As long as they have a good time, that's great. But I'm always focused on the next thing. It feels wrong for me to kind of take any time for myself and do that. So maybe that's something I got to work on, with myself. But I don't ever celebrate, and you'll never really catch me in a suit. I think the last time I wore a suit was maybe 2010. So
wow.
Normally I'm a t-shirt kind of guy. I don't care if I don't care if I'm meeting with the president or whatever. I'm walking around in a Monarch billboard, man. And I do this every day, man. It's like I don't have to worry about, what am I going to wear today? Oh yeah, my Monarch shirt.
Yeah.
I got full head of hair, right? But I got my Monarch hat on, right? So but so no bow ties for me. But I love my Jameson. I love just my simple cigars, my simple whiskey. I'm a simple man. I just, trust in God and work my butt off.
I hear that, man. I hear that. Yeah, I don't really drink too much. But yeah, I don't even know a drink that I would say I like. So yeah, I don't really drink. My vice is definitely just cigars. But yeah, man, that's cool, man. You got a really neat story. Have you ever gone to the Big Smoke out in Vegas? You're close to Vegas. Have you ever been to that event?
I haven't, man. I've been to Vegas. I can't tell you how many times, but no, I haven't checked out the Big Smoke. Is that for cigars or what?
Yeah, it's for cigars, man. It's every year. It's at the Mirage this year, November 15th through the 17th. Check it out. I'll drop a link to you. I think me and my fellas from the Cigar Lounge up here are gonna go out there. So
count me in.
Drop you a link. Yeah, I'll drop.
Count me in.
It's like the biggest event.
Yeah, we'll be in Ohio for Chainwise, right? 8th and 9th, and so then just kind of segue on over to Vegas afterwards.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be neat. Yeah, man. So, any last thoughts on just the industry, right? Where are we going? Where are we headed in the next couple of years in this industry? Do you think we're going in the right direction right now? Since you've been in the game for even longer than me, you've seen the evolution of cryptos, good or bad. That's up for discussion. But where do you see blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the next 2 to 5 years? I would say
2 to 5 years. Well, I think what we think is going to happen isn't. I think what everybody in the space right now thinks is going to happen just really isn't. It's going to be so much better or so much worse. I think looking that far into the future, we all agree that blockchain is, incredible, right? You get the biggest corporations on the planet with tons of patents. Tons of them are coming into blockchain. You got China that's releasing their own cryptocurrency in November. You can see that this is, the way of the world, the way that it's going.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to start seeing blockchain type, platforms injected into all these different areas of our lives. I think it's going to start first with financial. And I think over the next couple of years, you're going to see it start, coming out into like video games, and you'll start seeing it maybe with airlines and some, maybe integrated in with cars a little bit. And so you're going to start seeing more and more of it. But as far as for everybody that's in the space right now, they're just wondering, what's the price of Bitcoin and all that stuff going to be? That's normally what everybody in the space right now is asking, like, hey, when are my bags going to moon, right? When are my bags going to go back to what they were in 17? I don't think, man, I think a lot of these, these altcoins, man, I said in 17, I said a lot of these are going to zero, man. I said that like 95, 99% of these things are going to zero. And I don't know that, like they say, rising tides raise all ships. I don't know that that's going to be the case for a lot of these altcoins. I think you're going to see more and more of these crypto companies that raise money in 17 and 18 that are just going to go out of business, right? You're going to see bigger companies buy up some of the ones that have some maybe decent tech, and then a lot of them are just going to kind of disappear into the night. So you're going to see a lot of that over the next couple of years. You're going to see a consolidation of companies. You're going to see a lot of these small ones get eaten up by bigger ones. You're going to see bigger ones become giant ones. And you're going to see giant ones go completely out of business and just disappear, like Mount Gox moments, things like that. Stuff that you never thought would happen will happen, and things that you thought for sure was going to happen won't. So I think
goes life, right? That's how it. That's the story of life, man. Everything you pretty much planned on normally doesn't pan out the way you want it to.
Yeah, one thing we can do is we can look back in history, right? So we know through the internet, we know when the internet came out, it was revolutionary. We couldn't imagine living our lives now without it, right? Think about all the conveniences and all the things that people use every single day just don't live, right? The society would implode overnight if they lost the internet. And so we're kind of there, with blockchain, right? You can kind of see, okay, this has a lot of value. This is going to be really freaking cool. And so where we're headed. We're going up, right? This is going to be injected into our civilizations across the world, no doubt. But for people that are just talking about cryptos, a lot of those aren't going to go with it. So things like Bitcoin, as long as the core development team doesn't screw it up, as long as they leave it stable, intact, and at a 21 million supply, and they don't screw it up too bad, I think it's always going to go up in value because they're not making any more of it unless they screw up the code. So, that's a lot of people ask, where I think Bitcoin will be. I think it's going to be worth somewhere between 40 to 60 grand over the next, 2-3 years, something like that. A lot of people say
that's reasonable.
A lot of people say, millions of dollars and stuff like that. It's like, well, when you have everybody saying that, it's usually that doesn't happen, right? So,
if Bitcoin is at $1 million, there are serious issues in our economy, and we're most likely not even thinking about that being $1 million. Or my scenario for $1 million Bitcoin is that it's priced in $1 million worth of our old currency, right? So if we issue a new type of US dollar, the one we're using now, Bitcoin is worth $1 million in our old currency. They're gonna can kick, man. That's what they do. The world is not ending tomorrow. From a financial standpoint. And, like you said, I think Bitcoin will just slowly over time just continue to appreciate, as they continue to print more money. So.
Yep. Good old hyperinflation, good old government printing. It's like, hey, we need more money. We'll just go in the back room and print some more. Now with cryptos, they can just, mint some more or just add a decimal place, or whatever they want to do. So I've always said that cryptocurrency is, the greatest, freedom for the people or the biggest enslaver. So like with China, doing their own cryptocurrency, that's, wow. They're basically going to be able to track, all their citizens. They're going to see exactly how much money they have, who they spend it with, what they buy with it. If they decide they're a bad citizen, they can freeze it, take it back, blacklist them, not allow them to have it. I mean, that's some scary
stuff. So any tool can be used for good or bad, right?
For sure.
And we see an example of China. That's an implementation of blockchain being used for the enslavement of its people. And we got to stay away from that. We got to just be careful that we don't allow that to happen in the world in general. What are your thoughts, since we're kind of on that whole China and they're issuing their own currency? Lastly, your thoughts on Libra. How do you look at that project? Good or bad, indifferent? Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this for a couple of years, actually. It's like when Facebook comes into the market, it's going to be great for the exposure of cryptocurrency, right?
Yes.
But these guys are actually going to be the pioneers, right? So they have to go in there and fight all our battles for us for regulation. And that's one of the big holdups that we have in crypto. Forget that the tech sucks. Forget the user experience sucks. Right now, the federal government realizes that this could jeopardize the dollar. And so there's a lot of, eyes on this, especially from the government. And so Facebook's going to have to go in there and fight these battles for us to give us kind of clear regulation on what a blockchain project can be, what kind of licensing it needs, what kind of red tape it's going to have to go through, all that kind of stuff. And so it's going to be great for the space to kind of get that final clarity, because right now everybody keeps talking about the Howey test. For, if it passes the Howey, it's a utility. If it doesn't, it's a security. But there needs to be a lot more guidance in that. And so I think with Facebook, it's going to give us that. In addition, they've got like 80 million businesses on the Facebook platform, right? And so with them creating their own Libra coin, I mean, obviously they're using it. I think they're going to start using it in like India or something like that through WhatsApp, right? But if you look at Facebook as a whole, all the different platforms that they own, all the different utilities and stuff that they have, it's like 3 billion people or something like that. And all these people eventually are going to be exposed to a form of digital currency, most likely a cryptocurrency. And when that happens, they're going to quickly realize, hey, wait a minute, this is great that I can use it to pay for goods and services, and it's not volatile. So merchants are going to love it. It's going to be great for people interacting within the Facebook ecosystem. But then people are going to start to say, hey, what about all these guys who are driving Lambos, right? What about all these people who are making money with it? What are these other cryptos I was hearing about? And it's going to kind of open the door to other crypto projects. So your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your XRPs, your XLMs, all the top cryptocurrencies and things like that is going to start getting more and more exposure by more and more people, because they're going to be inundated into blockchain and crypto through Facebook. So overall, I think it's a great thing for awareness. I think it's a great thing for people that don't have access to their own currency, and like third world countries that are constantly having to deal with hyperinflation and screwed up governments and things like that. If they're able to use it, that's great. So I mean, there's some bad, with the evil empire of Facebook. Now they can control all your data and your finances. So there's that thing you got to worry about. But overall, I think it's a great thing for the space, and it's going to allow a lot of other companies, to kind of rise to the top as well, and follow in the footsteps of these giants, so to speak, that are going to have to deal with the regulators for us.
Yeah, and the Howey test is what that Howey versus whatever case is right. So we're trying to apply the Howey test to a technology that's 10 years old. So it just definitely needs some more framework created around this whole new technology. And maybe Facebook will be the catalyst for that. I do think, though, as we saw with the one senator that said, you know what, we can't ban Bitcoin. I mean, you see what we're doing with Facebook. And, a lot of them, I think, are realizing the difference between a Libra crypto or coin and Bitcoin. And that, I think, is a watershed moment in the U.S. at least. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens, man. Robert Beadles, also known as Crypto Beadles, thanks for coming on, man. You guys make sure you go visit his website, monarchwallet.com, to check out that fantastic wallet he's got going on over there. That's pretty much it, though, for today, ladies and gents. Thanks for kicking it with me and Crypto Beadles. I'm out of here, people. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I can't forget that. How?
Take care and God bless. Love you, peeps.